Today, we are tackling one of the most complex, common questions we get all the time and something we face personally.
Welcome to Millers in Motion. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lauren, and with RV show season just around the corner, we've been reflecting on our first RV purchase experience, and we want to share some of those tips with you.
We've been RVing for quite a while now, and we may have made some inaccurate purchases based on what we thought we needed and didn't actually need, or things that we wish we had gotten that we didn't know we needed.
We thought we understood our needs. We didn't.
What she said.
It's a shorter way to say that. But we've learned a lot, and we think it's valuable information for you guys to learn from some of our, I won't even call them mistakes. We learned a lot.
Oh, yeah, sure. So how are you supposed to know which RV is right for you first time out of the gate?
Let me give you a hint. You probably don't. And that's okay. We thought we knew, and we didn't. And that's how we learned about it.
We initially bought a Grand Design Solitude 390 RK, and we loved everything about it.
It met the needs we thought we had for sure. Beautiful kitchen, space for the dogs, the whole nine.
Fast forward about a year and a half later, and we're standing in front of our 2024 Alliance Valor 44 V14 toy hauler. That actually meets most of our needs.
Absolutely. But we learned about that.
So how do you even start to assess what you need?
I think you need to start thinking about your functions, right? Are you going to be in this full time, and maybe you need like a washer and dryer or some amenities like that that you might find in a house? Or are you going to be part-time, weekend warriors, something like that, where maybe you don't need some of those things, but you need access to certain parks?
Now, are you going to be going to national parks? Are you thinking about going to Alaska? Are you just going to go to RV resorts on the beach that has room for miles and it doesn't matter what size RV you in? Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
There really are. So Alaska, maybe at certain suspensions, or, you know, if you're going off-roading, things like that.
What size RV?
Yes, that makes a big difference. Here's a point. If you're going to be in national parks, you probably want something a little bit smaller in order to soak up all of that.
If you've got 6 kids, maybe something bigger.
Which leads us to needs. Do you need room for children? Do you, I mean, in the truck too, so don't just, this isn't just the RV, think about your vehicle too. So do you need room for them or other family members? Maybe you take like...
Toys.
I was gonna say your mother, but
Toys.
that works too. Maybe you need your golf cart. Maybe you need your golf cart, maybe you need kayaks, things like that you want to make sure to take with you. And so there are lots of ways to do it, but narrowing down what you need is the first step.
Now, hopefully you have an idea of what your needs are. Now, how do you go about finding the thing that meets those needs?
This is where research comes in, and I will tell you, personally, we researched for a long time, months, probably over a year. Yeah, it was a long time. So anyways, start online. You can see lots of pictures, you can see lots of floor plans, get an idea on pricing. I know that's not the final thing, but at least find out what ballpark you're playing in would be really important.
Just know you can also do that by looking at the manufacturer's website.
Yes.
And dealership websites. Typically manufacturers are going to have more 360 photos and floor plan stuff and more stats, whereas dealers are going to have potentially actual pictures of that unit that's sitting on their lot.
All right, once you've done your research online and there's something you want to see in person, our first step was stopping by some of the dealerships to see them. Now, you can talk to some of the people and get a little bit of input, ask your questions maybe, and feel like the quality of things and just kind of poke and prod in that manner. And often, like buying a car, you're not obligated to anything when you walk in. They can be a little pushy at some places, I get it, but walk in with your goals understood. And
all dealerships have their own policies as far as showing you the rigs and how they do that. So just know that there's no one standardized answer for how they show rigs.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to see a couple of things in one place, you should consider going to an RV show, whether it's multiple floor plans or multiple brands. For us, we purchased during the COVID time, and so there wasn't a lot of stock. So we really had to go to something big in order to see everything we wanted to see and truly get that comparison.
So just know there are multiple kinds of RV shows. There's regional shows and national shows. Regional shows are going to be run by actual dealerships, and there may be an occasional manufacturer representative, but there's probably only going to be one. When you go to a national show like the Hershey or Tampa RV or the Florida RV Super Show, they're going to be manufacturer supported, which means say Alliance RV, for instance, sends most of their team down and actually is able to answer questions. So you can get a little more information at a national show. When we were looking at our first RV, we chose to go to the Florida RV Super Show. A lot had to do with the fact that it was January and we were cold and we wanted to be warm.
Always.
And it was a manufacturer supported show.
It was, but it was also huge, and we wanted to see a lot in one place.
And we were able to over the course of a few days. So one last option that not a lot of people think of is actually using an RV rental company. And yes, there are a handful out there. If you just Google search RV rentals, they'll pop up. And then you can see what's in your area and what's available. Now, these can range in year and a whole bunch of different things. I don't know that you might find the exact floor plan, and you may want to take the condition with a grain of salt, because obviously you can be all over the place.
Sure.
But if you think you may be a Class B van lifer, maybe give it a try first.
That's right. This allows you not only to spend multiple days in it, but you can take the people that you're supposed to be in a confined space with and find out how good that's going to go.
We personally rented 2 or 3 different RVs just to make sure we even like the idea of it.
Right.
I will tell you, nothing as big as what we ended up in, and loved it enough that we went big.
Yes,
and then went home.
We decided that was actually supporting our goals, and that's what we wanted to do. So, but we got to test those waters a little bit with us and with the dogs in there, and that was really informative.
Aside from the RV, what else do I need to budget for?
That is a good question, and one that can bite you if you're not prepared for it. Buying the RV is not the end of it. Before you get to your first campsite, you need things, and we're talking sewer hoses,
Please.
valves.
Please.
Now your rig should come with an electric cord, but it's not coming with a water hose. So many things, and that doesn't even touch like safety and navigation. So there are so many things that you will need, and you can check out our website. We have some of those listed.
So in addition to those accessories to make your RV function, are toys a necessary thing, or are you budgeting that into your purchase? I.e., if you've got a toy hauler space, are you getting a golf cart, a razor, a motorcycle?
That's right. And remember, those e-bikes that you see the family trickling down on, those are about $1,000 or more a piece. So if you've got 4 or 5 family members, that can add up really quickly.
Another big one would be insurance. Believe it or not, you have to insure this thing.
Yes.
Crazy.
Crazy, because if it gets into a wreck, several things, whether you need to be protected, just like you do your car.
And know if you're towing a trailer side of this, your truck coverage does not cover your RV necessarily. You do need independent coverage.
Yes.
Also, I know there's a lot of content creators in the RV space, and we all kind of watch each other videos. If you're a content creator and you're thinking about putting your logo on the coach, just know there is a certain line where if you put a big enough logo and you're incorporated or LLC or whatever as a company, you are required to buy commercial insurance, not standard. And trust me, you don't want to buy commercial insurance. It's a lot more expensive.
That is a whole different ballpark we are not ready for. But also, if you're storing this as a part-timer, remember that one of the most common places of damage is in storage, not even when you use it.
So as far as expenses too, talking about storage, if you are a part-timer, your actual paying for the storage is part of that. I don't know if you meant to transition that, but it was perfect.
Maybe you have a place big enough to keep it on site, but a lot of you don't.
Or if you're a full-timer, are you going to pay a monthly fee at a park, or are you just going to bounce around and maybe boondock a little bit and all those things? So understanding what it's going to cost to be in the RV and wherever the RV is going to be is a portion of that as well. Now, are you ready to tow your new Monster RV, or do you have a vehicle because you bought the big diesel pusher Newmar and you're going to invite us over for dinner one night because they're pretty?
Yes.
Do you have something to drive when you get to town?
Right, so this is your tow vehicle, or towed if it's behind you. So are you planning to use what you already have, or is this included in your budget to swap that out?
I can tell you, some trucks get really expensive. Towed vehicles, as long as you can flat tow it or however you're going to tow it, you can get away with a little bit more on that front.
But caveat on that, you probably want to know about those vehicles, know what your tow ratings are so you can safely tow an RV, those kinds of things. So understand that. And when he says flat tow, do you know what that means? Do you know how to get there? So this may be a big learning opportunity for you. It was for me. He knew more about it, but just know that.
In addition to all that stuff, you still have safety things. So for us, we consider that things like your tire pressure monitoring system, if your coach didn't come equipped with one.
Yes.
That's your RV specific GPS, that's routing information. So like things like RV Life, other campground memberships. There's a lot more that goes into it.
There is, and you're thinking, why do I need a GPS? Well, our rig is particularly tall, and we would like to avoid low bridges that would shave off our AC units. So yeah, those come in really handy. All right, this is a lot of information. We had to take ourselves a seat.
I'm exhausted.
Once you're ready to sign on the dotted line, you know what you're getting, you know the cost associated, you've got all of your accessories and tow vehicles ready to go. What's that next step? And I would encourage you to think about whether you want to purchase from a show or from a dealership.
Now, a lot of people are going to tell you you're going to get the best price at a show. I'll be honest. You're probably getting the best starting point of a price at a show,
right?
Because they want to entice you to purchase there.
Absolutely.
Now, there's nothing saying you're going to get a better deal at one or the other. There is typically, in a non-COVID year, there is a certain percentage off you can expect to get of MSRP.
Highly variable.
And I'm about to say that is very dependent on the time, the industry. There's a lot of things that go into that, but know that as per the norm, you should be getting some percentage off. If you want to learn a little bit more about discounts and pricing at the moment you're looking at buying, if you go on Facebook, there is probably going to be an owner's group for that manufacturer model and possibly even floor plan that you may be able to ask that question and see what people are doing, because sometimes you may be able to get a better deal by going to another state.
Absolutely. So don't rule that out. Nationwide is an option. And when you're sitting there talking to somebody, they are going to try to sell you a warranty, just like on your car. That's what they do. Yes, they're making money off of it. Some people see a lot of value in these and some people don't. It's highly controversial in the RV space.
And just know that there are plenty of places that you can get a warranty. You don't have to buy the warranty right there. You can get a warranty after you walk out. There are multiple companies that do this. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do the one there.
Right.
Just know what you're comfortable with and completely understand everything before you sign on it.
And in all sincerity, that was a hiccup that we didn't anticipate. And so we did not realize that that wasn't your one and done moment. You can purchase a warranty after the fact. You don't have to purchase anything right then and there. And that a lot of the times your brand new rig will come with a certain level of warranty.
Yes.
So understand what's in that before you decide on a third party warranty.
The other thing is extended warranties that are offered by the dealership are dealership specific. They're only going to offer a couple, and they're typically with that. It's not uncommon for them to get a little bit of a referral fee for sending you over there. So it's pretty common that they're a little bit higher priced because of that. So again, just do your research before you agree to buy or not buy anything.
And I think this is a good point to bring in that new rigs are not the only option. There is a huge market for used rigs. We have sold on that market and had a fantastic experience. And so don't let that dissuade you thinking that you have to buy some big, expensive, brand new rig. I think it's worth the research to look into used options as well, if that's right for you.
Because if you're going to buy a used rig, and quite frankly, if you're going to buy a new rig too, you should strongly consider getting an independent inspection done.
And we did that on our first rig, even though it was brand new, and we're very glad that we did.
Independent inspections are done by certified professionals that come in and spend a lot of time with the coach. And so any potential issues, they're pretty good about sniffing it out. We'll actually share a link down below of a search engine that allows you to find not only inspectors, but NRVTA qualified techs as well. So last but not least, you may not find the exact coach you want with the features you want on a lot. Maybe you will. Who knows? Depends on you. But just know, just because they don't have that model in stock or that floor plan, say you want dual pane windows instead of single pane, or you want a heat strip in your AC, or you want a bigger AC, or you want something specific that maybe that dealer doesn't have, you can order a coach from that dealership.
Yes.
So something that's important to note when talking about not only ordering but purchasing is understanding the time frame you're working with.
It's longer than you think.
And it's always longer. When you buy a new car, you typically go in, you see the car, you test drive it. If you agree to buy it, you go through the paperwork and do all that. That process, at least at most dealerships, is pretty similar with the RV.
Yes.
The thing that they don't tell you about is you're not going to take that RV home right then and there. Typically, you're going to have a certain amount of time, and that varies on dealerships, where they want to go through it and make sure everything's working. Because things can be damaged in transit from the manufacturer down. They might not fix them all at once. Some kid could have come there, looked at something, and accidentally ripped a handle off. There's a lot of different variables. So they go through the coach, hopefully, in good detail and fix all of those things. So you're not going to walk home with that coach.
Right, and that's one thing we've learned in the RV space is that everything takes longer than you think it does. And like he was referencing the inspection we had, that took 8 hours.
Yeah.
So that was a whole day that we had to schedule and do that, and then we had to allot for time afterwards for anything to be fixed. So while he's saying that the dealership may do an inspection and fix some things, that's not the only kind of time lag that you're looking at. There are several things that go back and forth, so prepare yourself for a little bit of that. You're not hitting the road right away to go to your first vacation, and that's okay.
Now the flip side of that is if you were to order a custom coach, even if it's just a different color interior that they didn't have in stock, that's still considered a custom coach. That order can potentially take quite a bit longer because then it goes in line with the manufacturing process at whatever manufacturer you picked. We're going to reference Alliance a whole lot in this conversation just because that's what we have. So I know as far as the Alliance procedure, they get an order in from a dealership and then they find the next available time. Well, typically they'll block different floor plans to go through their production plants at the same time. So there's an Alliance Valor specific manufacturing plant, and then they take a block of coaches and it's specifically like a 44 V14 like us, and then the next block may be the 40 V13, and they'll change based on what their expected deliveries are for the upcoming dealership deliveries.
Yes, so if you are ordering a custom coach, you don't know where you are in that timeline right off the bat. Even the people when you order may not know that information.
I will tell you from firsthand experience with 2 RVs now, time is only a thing. Get what you want, how you want it.
Yes.
At the end of the day, because even on this coach, I kind of have regrets about not doing something because it was going to take longer.
Right.
And so just know that like if you're really dead set on something, don't settle. That also goes for ordering a custom coach versus picking one on the lot. Don't let a salesperson pressure you into picking one that maybe doesn't have all the features you want. Get what you want as long as you're okay paying for it.
Or understanding that you can put that on later or something like that. What he's talking about, we can't necessarily put on aftermarket.
So you have purchased your RV, you've picked it up, and you're just itching to drive completely across the country to a national park.
That's right, go for that dream vacation.
Pump those brakes a little bit.
Just a little bit. So we strongly recommend that you take what is called a shakedown trip. That is not where you shake your passengers and shake all the money out of their pockets because you spent all of that already. This is where you take your new to you rig, maybe that's new, maybe it's used, but it's new to you, and you take it not too far away from you so that if or when something kind of goes awry, it's easy to handle.
Now you don't want to go too close either, so
Yes.
put a few hours drive time on it, get somewhere, unpack, camp, use the coach for a couple of days, and drive it back to wherever you came from. If you're committing to full-time life, before you get rid of that domicile, whatever it happens to be, living arrangements, do this trip.
Absolutely.
Because it's almost guaranteed something's going to break. These RVs are essentially rolling homes that are driving in an earthquake whilst the tornado hits it.
Yes, and so something that's why they call it shakedown. The dust is going to shake out, something's going to move.
You will find sawdust for months.
Yes, you will.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Until now, years later, you may want to ask somebody something,
But you'll also learn how to start securing things and what you need to do for those longer road trips to make them safe and easier on you.
So all those things combined, there's a very real potential after that shakedown trip. It may have to make a return trip to the dealership to tighten up some things. Now, some of that stuff you may be able to fix as well. So that just becomes a what's comfortable, what's not comfortable.
Right.
Just know that most of those things are going to be covered under warranty, assuming it's not your fault.
And understand, all of this is perfectly normal. Having a million questions, having trouble making your decisions, the time frame involved, stuff kind of breaking and shifting, that's all perfectly normal. You're not alone in that.
So with that being said, if you're looking for a little more one-on-one advice, we actually have our membership platform we call the Millers in Motion family. Inside there, you can get access to a lot of our documents and travel maps, and most importantly, access to us.
Yes.
We'll be more than happy to answer questions down in the comments, but if you want to have a much longer conversation, we'd be happy to help you.
Yeah.
Just know that most of those conversations happen on our Discord page inside the family.
That's right. We'd love to have you. And if there was one tip I had for you guys in this whole process, it's going to be to write things down.
Or marry someone that does write things down.
That's right. Pick one of those two for sure. So during the research process and the buying process, I wrote down questions I had, things about floor plans I didn't like, price points, there were spreadsheets.
The spreadsheet twitch is coming back.
There's always a spreadsheet that can help. So leave comments in below. Support me in the love of spreadsheets. But yes, no, write it all down so that you understand and you're not confused later in your discussions. Like, oh, I thought this one had X, Y, and Z. Oh, I thought this one had a price point, whatever it is. Helps keep you straight, especially as you're narrowing it down. And don't let it stop there. Once you get the rig, keep track.
Or just give receipts to someone else.
That's right. That can still continue. But if you track like the maintenance that you're doing, and if you have to have repair work or something done, knowing that that was done by somebody who's certified and qualified goes a long way in a resale process.
If you have to contact the manufacturer's customer service, save those emails. I'm not saying that's like print them all out, but put them somewhere in a file that you can readily get them in case that issue ever occurs.
Yeah.
They may have to ask for that communication, and you don't want to bank 100% that the manufacturer kept all that stuff. We're really lucky because Alliance does keep that stuff, but I still kept my version of it just in case, because you never know what computer hacker out there can get into that and delete stuff.
You would keep a lot of the same information for your house, and this to us is no different because, I mean, that is our house.
Yep. Or a large purchase. Same thing if it's your vacation home or your weekend home.
Yes.
You would keep that stuff as well.
You got it.
Hopefully this helped answer some questions if you're looking to buy your first RV. By all means, if you have more questions, please put them down below. And again, if you'd like to have a more in-depth conversation, that's through the Millers in Motion family. Check that out. Also, we have a podcast. I'm going to plug one last thing. So go check out the podcast, RV Shenanigans, wherever you listen to your podcast, or right here on this YouTube channel every Thursday.
Changing to RV life was a big decision for us. Hopefully we see you guys out on the road. Bye, Mom.